You know the feeling. You finish a long, hard day of work, you tell yourself, I've earned a break. You sit down on the couch just for a second, and then boom, it's midnight, and you're left with that quiet, nagging frustration that your entire evening just disappeared. If that sounds a little too familiar, you're in exactly the right place, because we're going to break down why that happens and, more importantly, how you can fix it. Seriously, where do they go? It's this universal feeling, isn't it? These precious hours just seem to slip right through our fingers. We all have these plans, right? We're going to read that book, finally start that workout, actually connect with our family, maybe learn something new, but somehow it all just evaporates into this haze of scrolling, channel surfing, and just nothing. And the crazy part? We end the night feeling even more tired than when we started, wondering, where did all that time go?
Okay, here is the most important thing you need to hear right now. This is not your fault. Let me say that again. It's not a lack of discipline. It's not you being lazy. It is absolutely not a moral failure. It's a design flaw. The system, or lack of one, that you're using for your evenings, it's broken by default. So let's give that broken system a name so we know exactly what we're up against. We're going to call this the default evening. Think of it like an invisible script that starts running the second your brain gets tired from a long day. After hours of making decisions, your mind is just done. It's wired to shut down, find the easiest path to comfort, and numb out. And in our world, the path of least resistance almost always leads straight to the couch and the nearest screen. That's the default.
I want you to really let that sink in for a second. Your evenings are failing because they are designed by default, not by intention. When you expect your exhausted post-work self to suddenly find the energy for something productive or meaningful, you're not just fighting a bad habit, you're fighting your own biology. You're asking a totally depleted brain to make brilliant, high-energy choices. It's just not going to happen. The problem isn't the player, it's the game, and it's time we change the rules.
And this right here shows us everything. The losing strategy, the one most of us are trapped in, is all about brute force, willpower, and time management. We try to force ourselves to do things, using a resource, willpower, that is completely empty by 5 p.m. But the winning strategy? It flips the whole script. It's not about managing time, it's about managing your energy. It's not about forcing yourself, it's about designing a system that works with you, especially when you're tired.
So here's our game plan for that design. We're going to build an intentional evening together, step by step. First, we'll create what's called a gentle transition. Then, we'll reshape our evening environment to make things easier. After that, we'll get into building intentional habits that actually stick. And finally, we'll nail down your very first step, something you can do tonight. All right, let's dive into part 1, the gentle transition. This is all about building a bridge from your work self to your real self. It's a clear, psychological boundary that tells your brain, okay, the workday is officially over. You can power down now. And think about it. If you just slide directly from answering that last email to slumping on the couch, your brain is still firing on all cylinders. It's still processing that stressful meeting. It's still thinking about tomorrow's to-do list. It never got the memo that it's time to switch off. And that boundary is absolutely essential, because without it, your evening never really gets the space it needs to even begin. So how do we build that boundary? With a super simple physical ritual. It doesn't need to be this whole complicated thing. Step 1, physically close your laptop. I mean it. Don't just minimize a window. Close it. Hear that click? Step 2, take one deep cleansing breath, in and out. And step 3, say the words out loud. Work is done. That combo of physical action and spoken words sends a powerful signal. It's a tiny act that lets you consciously step out of that work role and back into your own life. Now, once you've made that transition, stop thinking about your evening as one giant, overwhelming block of time. Instead, think of it in 3 phases that kind of follow your natural energy levels. You start with recovery. This is for zero decision activities. We're talking listening to music, maybe a podcast, a light walk. The goal is to just let your brain coast. Then, as you recharge, you might feel up for a little growth. This is where you could read a chapter of a book or spend 20 minutes on a hobby. And finally, there's connection, using that restored energy for a deep, meaningful chat with someone you care about. See? It's a gentle flow, not a All right, that brings us to our second big principle, shaping your evening environment. This is a total game changer because it takes all the pressure off your willpower. The idea is simple. If you shape your world, you shape your mind. And you barely have to try. And let's start with the biggest villain in our environment, the phone. We have to be honest with ourselves. Your phone is not a harmless little tool for relaxation. It is, and I love this quote, an energy extraction device. It has been precision engineered by geniuses to capture your attention and drain your mental battery, leaving you too tired to do anything else. Treating it like it's neutral is the first mistake we all make.
And that's exactly why fighting your phone with willpower is a losing battle, especially at night when you've got nothing left in the tank. The willpower approach says, oh, I'll just resist opening that app. The design approach says, just delete the app. Willpower says, I'll keep my phone next to me, but I won't look. Design says, charge it in another room. You see the difference? One requires constant, exhausting effort. The other works for you, automatically, in the background.
And this isn't just about taking away the bad stuff, it's about adding the good stuff. Creating an evening sanctuary isn't some fluffy self-care idea. It's what the source calls neurological communication. Dimming the lights, putting on some chill music, tidying up just one small surface, maybe lighting a candle, these are all signals you're sending to your nervous system. They're all whispering, slow down, and your body and mind actually listen.
Okay, so we've set the boundary, we've shaped our environment, now let's talk about the habits themselves. And the key here is to work with your mind's natural tendencies in the evening, not try to fight against them.
You know that urge you get to just scroll or zone out? It's usually driven by some uncomfortable feeling. Stress, anxiety, maybe just plain boredom. And most of us, our first instinct is to numb that feeling. But what if we treated it like a signal instead? Instead of running from boredom, just name it. The simple act of thinking to yourself, I'm feeling bored right now. That can loosen its grip on you. It creates just enough of a pause for you to make a different choice.
So where do you even begin? Right here, with this number, 1. The biggest mistake we all make is we try to do everything at once. We design this perfect evening with 5 new habits, we feel completely overwhelmed, and then we crash and burn on day 1. So forget all that. Start with just one thing. Find one tiny keystone habit that's like the starting pistol for your evening. Maybe it's just changing out of your work clothes. Maybe it's putting on a specific album. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be first. Just one.
And from that one habit, you can start to build. You aim for these tiny little actions that flow together naturally. You keep things fresh by rotating activities, so your brain stays curious instead of getting bored and resistant. And this is so important. You have to reframe those nights when you have zero energy. Those are not failures. They are necessary recovery nights. Your body needs them. You have to give yourself that grace.
And let's touch on social energy for a minute. We're always told connection is the answer, but let's be real. Unmanaged connection can be just as draining as scrolling Instagram. We need to shift our goal from having tons of shallow interactions, like juggling a dozen text threads, to having 1 or 2 deep, nourishing conversations. That's what transforms connection from something that exhausts you into something that truly restores you.
So we've covered the transition, the environment, and the habits. And all of this leads to one final, really powerful shift in how we think. It's time to stop seeing our evenings as an afterthought and start seeing them for what they really are.
Let this one sink in too. For way too long, we've treated our evenings like the scraps, the time that's left over after we've given all our best energy to our jobs. We see them as something we just have to get through until we can be productive again tomorrow. But that way of thinking is what keeps us stuck. Your evening is the foundation. It's the only time you have to invest in your health, your relationships, your skills, your actual well-being. It is the soil where the seeds of your future self were planted. The quality of your evening doesn't just end the day, it actually determines the quality of your next day. It always has.
So just remember this. Your life isn't shaped by some grand dramatic moment. It's shaped quietly, almost invisibly, in the small choices you make between 5 p.m. and when your head hits the pillow. The person you want to become a year from now, they aren't created in some far-off future. They're being built right now, tonight.
So let's make this real. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. What is your one small change going to be? Are you going to do that 3-step shutdown ritual? Are you going to charge your phone in another room? Maybe just dim the lights and put on some music? Choose one, just one, because an intentional future always begins with one intentional evening.
Like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe my channel now. Thank you for watching.